Hello everybody, my name is Dratnos, and today I wanted to make a video about Dragonflight Mythic Plus. So you may have missed some of the news regarding what's going to happen in Season 1, Season 2 of Dragonflight, but Ian Hazzikostas actually did an interview where he explained that there's a 8 dungeon rotation for Dragonflight Season 1, with 4 Dragonflight dungeons and 4 dungeons from past expansions. And then in Season 2, this rotation will change, including another set of 4 Dragonflight dungeons and 4 older dungeons. So it doesn't mean there's only 4 Dragonflight dungeons, it just means that there will be some that aren't available in M Plus in Season 1, and then that will become available in the later season or seasons. It is still not known for sure how many dungeons Dragonflight will offer. The interview does make it sound like we'll see at least 8 new dungeons. We saw 8 in Shadowlands, we saw 10, I want to say, in BFA and Legion on launch. So 8 to 10 is a pretty likely guess for how many dungeons the expansion is going to launch with. But it's going to have this weird thing in Dragonflight Season 1 where they're going to continue what they're doing in Shadowlands Season 4, which has yet to happen, of rotating in some old dungeons to the M Plus pool. Now, I've been a huge fan of the idea of bringing in dungeons from old expansions to fill M Plus variety and keep things fresh from season to season, but I actually don't think that this is the ideal way to go about doing this. I think that in Dragonflight Season 1, they should just blast us with all the new dungeons, and then in Season 2, they can swap out half of them for half old dungeons, and then in Season 3, swap the other half back in and do another set of old dungeons. I think that would accomplish the same thing, but I do think right at the start of the expansion, it makes a lot of sense to just give us all the new content, all the other parts of the game. It's just all new, and I think M Plus should be as well in at least Season 1. But they've clarified a little more in this Community Council post about some of the ideas for how they want to do it. Some of it is just they want to talk about itemization. One thing they want to avoid is making it so that there's like super BIS items from specific dungeons, especially ones that then rotate out but are still BIS the next season, even at the lower item level. But on the other hand, we've heard tons of feedback about how refarming Soul-Letting Ruby, IQD, etc. every season hasn't exactly felt like a compelling progression experience, so we're excited at the chance to shake things up there. And I do think that's a good thing. I think that is something that a lot of people that are defending this are jumping at the idea that from Season 1 to Season 2, there will be no overlapping dungeons, which means that there will be no trinkets you have for 2 tiers in a row, unless there's something that's good enough to use however many item levels down from Season 1, which they said they're going to try and avoid. I do think that makes sense, but then you think about, okay, what are they going to do in Season 3, right? In Season 3, they either have to bring back the exact same Dragonflight dungeons of Season 1, or they have to do like a mix of Season 1 and Season 2, and that will lead to there being the same dungeons from Season 3 as there were in either 1 or 2, or both. So you don't avoid this problem forever, right? You just avoid it for the start of the expansion. But if you just blasted us with all new dungeons for Season 1, right? If Season 1 was the 8 new Dragonflight dungeons, and then Season 2 was 4 and 4, and Season 3 was the other 4 and the other 4, then you would get that benefit between Seasons 2 and 3 of, no overlapping trinkets. So I think that this is a nice thing here, but I think that in general, just like, you don't have to shake up every single dungeon. If just half the dungeons change, that will go a long way, and if half of them change every season, to making it so you don't feel like you have the literal same trinket for the whole expansion. I do think this is a nice upside of doing it this way, though. Hope is for dungeon gameplay itself to feel fresher. Definitely good. New set of puzzles for the community to solve each season. I like this idea. Seen mixed, often negative experiences in the past when we add brand new dungeons into the existing pool that community has already mastered. And while the hardcore M Plus community may not experience this issue firsthand, it's hard to overstate how daunting it can be for someone to try to get into M Plus or try a new role like tanking for the first time deep in an expansion when the established community is largely focused on routing, micro-optimizations, and time-saving tech, and groups likely assume complete baseline knowledge of boss mechanics, positioning, target priority, and so forth. And I very much sympathize with this, but I do think that having like 4 dungeons from BFA to MOP, like somewhere in that range, be in Dragonflight Season 1, isn't as much of a like accessibility bump as they think it is, because there's a lot of people that just didn't do those dungeons or won't remember, that will feel, that will also, it's not like that everybody's really familiar with Shadowpan Monastery or whatever, and intimately remembers all the things they have to do there, even the people that played it. And a lot of people that are currently playing didn't play back then and would probably feel this more if the expansion came out and they, in addition to having the new content, they also had to relearn old content that some people already knew. We're well aware of the risk that might be disappointing to not get to experience M+ versions of all 8 new Dragonflight dungeons. Okay, so I guess they actually just do confirm that there's 8 new Dragonflight dungeons right here, so if I'd read this thoroughly before making this video, I wouldn't have sounded so stupid right at the start during the first season. But our hope is that mixing in some dungeons that have never before had an M+ component, e.g. Shadowpan Monastery, will make for a fun new experience there, and in the long run, the complete rotation will make for a much healthier and more dynamic M+ experience over the course of the expansion as a whole. So I do still think that this is an admirable goal. But yeah, again, I think Season 1's got to be the 8 new ones. I think you can still do all of this swapping and old dungeons coming in and all of that and just do it for Seasons 2+, and you still get almost all of the upside here, and you don't get this downside of like this gut negative reaction to the idea of not having M+ be new at the start of the expansion. Because at the start of the expansion, just everything should be new. It should be all the new stuff, and then for the like year and a half where the expansion is not new anymore, that's the time to get the old content to get us some value out of that. So that's my take on this. I guess I have a fairly strong opinion about this. I do like I wouldn't be that sad about it if they end up just keeping it this way, because I personally will enjoy it quite a bit, but I do think it will detract from the hype for a lot of, particularly the like mid-investment M+ players. I think would really like to just have the whole new dungeon experience, and me too. But I also like the idea of old dungeons, even in Season 1, a little, somewhat. But yeah, anyways, I'm rambling, so I'm gonna stop the video here. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what other stuff you want to see me talk about, or if you would rather me not talk. I guess you've probably already gone by now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.